Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is looking at the games that Taurus plays. Taurus is a fixed earth sign. It's the first earth sign. And Taurus is a very kind of like a childlike sign. It represents the springtime. I don't know. It's so funny because what about those people in the southern hemisphere? I mean, astrology, it seems like it was created for people in the northern hemisphere sometimes. But the springtime is in that starting in March, but Taurus season is late April into late May. And there's a charming quality of Taurus and it's kind of similar to Aries of like what you see is what you get. Taurus people dislike artifice in others. So I'm talking about the classic Taurus person, will kind of like not approve of people who they think are phony, who they think are have a facade, or who they think are being really snobbish and, not being down to earth and kind of like arrogant and things like that. The games people play was a book that was, I would dare say, a runaway bestseller in the 1960s, written by a psychiatrist named Eric Berne, and dealing with the ways that people interact with others in dysfunctional ways. And I don't know, I haven't read the book cover to cover, so I don't know exactly why Eric Berne says that happens, but I think some of it had to do with avoiding intimacy. But there are different reasons why people do things. One of them is to have control over situations. I have already done videos about narcissists. I started out doing the elements. I just grouped all the earth signs together and the fire, etc. And then I had so much fun doing that, I decided to do each sign individually and talk about individual characteristics of each sign that would tend towards narcissism. So when I started doing this series, I realized that some of that, or maybe a lot of it's going to overlap with those videos, but you might want to check out those videos if you are listening for someone else that you think is not being straight with you in terms of how they are relating to you, and you're getting tired of it. You can find out more about that to gain insight into why they do what they do. Now, of course, you would have to agree with me because I'm not saying that I'm all-knowing in terms of these things, but it might give you something to think about at the very least. So, I think that Taurus, being an earth sign that's ruled by Venus, which kind of, to me, increases the materialistic side of Taurus. I would dare say that Taurus is the most materialistic out of all the earth signs. But one reason that kind of tilts it in the balance of being a materialist is because Venus is about pleasure and beauty. And you know what? Beauty costs a pretty penny. Things that are like a better quality of clothing that looks nicer, that's going to cost more money usually. Better fabric, better, design. So it kind of drapes over the body in a better way. And likewise, better materials. So likewise, the Taurus person wants to live the life with the best of everything. And that means that they tend to have a price tag attached to everything, including people. Like a Taurus person may think that relationships can be bought and sold. And I was thinking about my late father, who was a Taurus, and he had a plaque hanging up in his office that said, "There's no such thing as a free lunch." I mean, he believed in that so strongly that he put up a plaque that said that. I mean, it's just like it makes me laugh from time to time because I think he was a little bit eccentric. Even though he was a Taurus, I think he might have had Aquarius rising or something. But that mentality of like money, if another person buys you something, it means that they want something from you. And really, a Taurus person can do this. And I actually had this happen to me once by somebody who was a Taurus. Now, can I prove that that person was trying to get me to do something by buying me? No, because I didn't demand that they tell me the truth about that, but I put two and two together. So this is problematic with Taurus because they think that they can throw money at situations, whatever they might be. And so if a Taurus person wants a certain person in their life, they may just start spending money on them. And it has nothing to do with gender. A female Taurus can do this just as well as a male. And the problem is, who are you going to attract if you do something like that? Are you going to attract somebody who loves you? And I'm almost addressing this to Taurus, which I shouldn't, because I really intended this to be for people who are dealing with this individual, but it happens so many times that people are listening for their own sign. And I want people also to know that this is not meant to be for every Taurus. It's only the ones who are dysfunctional to the level where they're imbalanced in certain ways in how they think about things and how they relate to other people. And the reason I brought up those videos I did on narcissism is that this is classic narcissism. Narcissists are using people as a means to an end. They might tell people that they care, they may pretend to care, but they really don't. A narcissist only cares about themselves. They don't care about other people because they don't have empathy. So they lack that ability to care for others. This is often due to severe trauma that they have endured. And because of that trauma, they are very wounded, very damaged. They're, damaged goods. And they seek to get that kind of stimulation or whatever you want to call it from their relationships with others, but especially with empaths. Empaths are very prone to get approached by narcissists because the narcissist knows that this person is a very giving person, and so they can get away with their nonsense. Whereas if you've noticed, if you've ever had to deal with a narcissist, let's say it's in your family, you may notice that other family members are not messed with by the narcissist, and you might say, oh, that's just, preferential treatment of those people versus me, when in fact, the narcissist knows that those people are going to laugh in his or her face at the requests that they're making because they're too self-absorbed to, try to make somebody else happy. They're too busy trying to get their own needs met. So the narcissists, I really believe that a fair number of narcissists are very intuitive, even though they're very destructive at the same time. But that they tend to know, even if they break up with you, they know when you're getting better and they come back. So the Taurus person can try to control relationships with money and other material possessions. If a relationship sours, that person may ask for something back that they have given to the person that they claim to love. And the other person may be like, this is like so tacky. But that Taurus person feels like it's almost like a contract. I didn't get my money's worth, so I want a refund. They're really thinking so materially. And so the games that they play are sometimes trying to control people with money, to thinking that the other people are like them. And there are a lot of people that will play that game because they are greedy enough to want the money. So if you're dealing with a person who you feel is trying to throw money at you, maybe you've just met this individual and they're trying to get you to be with them or like have a relationship with them, and they're giving you expensive gifts and you just recently met, consider that a red flag for sure, because they may be trying to spoil you so that you are wanting more and more things. And the problem with this is that, first of all, it's just a materialistic situation. It's not something where it's a genuine love situation. But also, if you make a false move, if you do something that individual doesn't like, then they can just as easily turn off the money. And if you've become dependent on it for some reason, like they try to paint this rosy picture, oh, we just had a child, or maybe they encourage you to have a child so that you're home. And then when you're trying to get money to buy groceries or to have spending money, that person is holding the purse strings and they've got you where they want you. So if they were generous and then all of a sudden they're acting kind of stingy, then you know it was all this ploy to get you under their thumb. And this can play out in many different ways, but you have to rise above it. Because the other thing too is that Taurus can be very sensual, including sexual, and they may also be doing things primarily to get you into bed, to get you to give them sex, and by any means necessary. So it could be like writing a poem, or especially if it's something material, buying you a beautiful necklace or anything. But really they want to have that steady sex supply. I'm not saying all Taurus people are like this. I'm talking about the ones that are imbalanced. How would they achieve their aim? And it's through that material avenue. You have to, in order to, if you're dealing with somebody that you feel is trying to buy your love, it might be simple insecurity. It might not be that the person is really conniving and they don't love you. They might be afraid that if they don't do these things that you won't be with them, because you might not be as materialistic as that person and you might not really care about those things, but they put themselves in your position and say, oh, well, if it were me in that position, I would totally want my partner to wine and dine me and do all these things. Maybe you don't care about that stuff, but they are kind of projecting their own way of looking at life onto you, and that makes them more likely to feel convinced that this is how they have to do things. So it can be as simple as letting that person know that you're not there because you are using them financially, that you are just there for the money, that they don't have to try so hard. And, that might be very impressive if the person really does have feelings for you. But be very careful about just going along with this, because first of all, you might get addicted to the treatment, and go along with more and more things, even though you have skepticism that the relationship can work because of certain ways that you're so different. So being able to not allow yourself to get spoiled, but by the same token, not to just assume that everyone who wants to take you out to dinner has an ulterior motive. I would never want somebody to think like that. But yeah, so I thought there was something else that I wanted to talk about that connected to this. And I said I was going to talk about it. Now I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I think I will end this here. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.